So I'll just load up the effect, and what you get initially when you load it up is something like this. So this is the default patch that plays when you kind of just load it. And what I want to show you here is how to accommodate loops of different length, because from this actually preset, if you just remove all of the effects, oops, not triggers, but all of the kind of glitchy effects, I'm just taking all of them out. And then having the sample play from beginning to end by creating a saw wave. And because it by default creates a bipolar, I'm creating just positive values. So now it's kind of playing the sample from beginning to end. But wait, what's this? Why is it triggering every beat twice? So that's because it's a long pattern. I'll just hide all this stuff so there's more space here. It's a long pattern of these triggers and sample offset positions. And what you notice is actually that it kind of jumps back a bit there. So what I can do is, I need the inspector back. I'll just halve the length of these sample offset patterns. I need to do this again. And then I also put the length of the gate pattern also to half. But what's actually happening here is that it's now sounding like it's moving at half speed, because that was not definitely 174 BPM. But that's because they are all getting the phase from here, and if you just change the length of the patterns, it will just kind of move on more slowly there. So we just need to make the pattern move twice as fast. So we'll turn this ratio to half. So that's Victory now. And this other scalar value here, it's for the sample and hold. And the reason why I have a sample and hold in the first place is because of the Mutant groove and stutter controls, which mess around with the phase pretty badly. And if I didn't have them, I would get this effect of kind of falling in between values of these, which would cause all kinds of trouble. So just to show you, if I turn up the stutter, it starts to kind of jump back and forth a bit, and it's actually adjustable. Like I can have more stutter in the beginning and then very little in the end. And that's still kind of subtle, but the Mutant groove is actually having a side wave distortion in the phase, so it will just beginning to jump all back and forth. You can see the phase here as it plays the sample from beginning to end and then from beginning. But when I start to do this, it will mess up with the complete order of the steps, and that's pretty cool if you ask me. And what if we just disable this? Well, you might want that, but it's kind of too much for normal use, so I prefer to have these on. And also you might be wondering, what are these notes you are hearing on top of the breakbeat? It's this other effect that I have here, the pitch following arpeggiator, which basically takes the pitch of the incoming signal and creates notes based on that. But of course, because it's an unpitched signal of beats and stuff, it just kind of glitches with the pitches and creates all this stuff. But I can turn it down. I think that's a pretty cool effect, and it's one that I'm using a lot myself. It's kind of the one that's easily overused because this follower ARP, it's so fun to just drop on things and see what comes out, because you can also mess with the patterns here, obviously, and I might do another video on that completely. But so now we have the sample playing from beginning to end, and we might start to mess with that. But that's kind of self-evident. It reads on the sequences what are they doing, and you can easily create your own things by just adding more patterns and make them modulate shit here. So, but then what I want to show you is that what if I want to have a longer sample here? That's the kind of basic premise of this whole video, that I can't have an automatic adjustment of different loop lengths because we can't insert any written code into patches yet, at least. There is the Nitro programming language, but it's not enabled for users, so I'll have to look for a sample here. I had something. That one has actually some melodic notes. That might be fun. Let's try that one. But the main thing is I want to have a longer loop here with more hits. And then you always need to remember to turn this reverse light back on for getting the reverse steps. And actually, if you want to be really kind of get tricky, you can just use two different loops here. I can show you actually that later, but instead of the reverse loop, you just put the normal forward loop, and then these steps that say reverse step will actually activate that other loop, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. So now, wait, oh yeah, that's why things are not going in the orderly order. That's not the thing you can say, but I just said it. So I made a new positive shift of so wave, and you would imagine, yeah, now it's playing all the steps from beginning to end, and we hear this kind of more or less as it should be the loop. Well, that's cool actually, but you hear it's skipping steps. So that might be either of two things. You might have a too low Quantiser value here, or more probably, because I have a quite low one here, I think it's 1 divided by 64, no, 1 divided by 32. I'll explain this actually in a moment, what this means. No, that's a bit, actually not such a low one. So let's have it here for a moment. So now I need to make longer patterns again. Because basically what I need to have is always as many gate steps, and preferably these sample offset steps, as there are hits in the loop. Actually, I can quickly go and just count kind of what I have there. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I came up at around 18, but that's probably because they are not. This might comprise of 2 16th notes actually. I'm not sure, but let's say I want to have 16 steps, so then here value of 1 divided by 8 should be enough. My logic is somehow broken, but I think I can just fix everything without understanding what I'm doing by just increasing the amount of these sample offset steps and making a longer gate pattern. So now I should have like 16 triggers here. It's double speed now, so I'll halve the speed here. this thing. Wait, what was the original like? Well, you're losing the groove of this because I'm quantizing its even values, so... Well, actually you get it kind of back if you play the original BPM, because I had like 70 BPMs of extra speed. And then should I explain a bit about this quantizer? Like, oh, it's kind of confusing how all these parts, these pattern lengths and the phase values and the quantize value play into each other, but you kind of get a hang of it when you do this a few times and just you can quickly experiment. But if you don't know what the quantizer is, I will now show you what the quantizer is. It will limit the possible values of any input signal into only certain values, and what the quantizer module does is they are always evenly distributed. So I can add a sine wave here and oscilloscope. And as you probably should know, the sine wave is, you know, just a smooth wave like this. And then I put the quantizer. Let's say I wanted to, for some reason, have only like 5 different output levels instead of this infinite kind of resolution. Well, not infinite, bitwig is using 32-bit processing, but that's practically infinite if you ask me. And then I put the constant there. And if I want like 5 steps, I can't put like 5 here. I would like to do that, but I can't because the way it works, it works in percentage. So if I want to have like 16 steps, I would imagine I put like 1 divided by 16. But what happens then is I actually get the 32 steps, and that's not even accurate because even though I have a perfect sine wave, sometimes it gets the topmost value, but generally not. I don't know why is that. Like every now and then it does that, but anyway. If I were to have like only 8 steps, I will divide it by 4. I think it has to do with the bi and unipolar thing, because if I was having like a unipolar signal, then 1 divided by 4 actually becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this weird glitches. So, and because this is always a unipolar signal, only positive values, I can, if I want to have like, let's say just 4 different possible playback start positions, I will put the 1 divided by 4, and so 4 is definitely not enough, but like maybe a 32 might be okay. That's pretty groovy. I had a small problem here. I think there's one silent step here, but I'm not going into why this might happen because I don't know why that might happen. I just put some random values here and see what can I get out of this thing. that's about it. Like all this stuff, these com filters and ring modulators and vocoders, they tend to be quite overpowering, so sometimes they are cool, but sometimes they're a bit too much. And obviously also you can make it run backwards. Just make a saw wave, positive shift, reverse, and just clear all this stuff from here. And these are the beat guides here, so it's easier to see where the beats fall. So if I would have a vocoder only on the beats. And let's say re-triggers here every now and then. And after the re-triggers, these reverse steps. Maybe instead of the last reverse step, you can have like a slowdown here. I don't know how it sounds, but. Oh well. I think that was about everything. You can always drop me a line at the Bitwig Discord. I'm under the name Taikagimi there, and you can of course always email me if something is confusing you. I think you got the email when you bought the presets. And I think that was all. It's already getting quite lengthy. I don't know if anybody is even awake anymore, so I'll just stop here. Bye.